Hey guys, it's James Upjohn here from MagicSubmitterTutorials.com. In this video I'm going to be talking to you about Manage Platforms, which is located in the Platform tab. It's the third tab in the top toolbar and the first icon that appears. Now if I click on this Manage Platforms item, you're going to notice that there's all these different platforms that come with Magic Submitter. Now the easiest way for me to describe what a platform is if you decided that you wanted to add a blog to your website, you could decide to install WordPress from wordpress.org. And basically, WordPress is a script that's been created that's free for anybody to use. It's known as open source script, and that basically means that you can have access to the source code to change it and customize it and do what you like with it. That's if you wanted to install a blog. However, there are many other types of open source scripts out there, and here's just a few of them. Parent Art Friendly, or Article MS, or Article Beach, Article Castle. If we go down to blog platforms, there's ELGG, BuddyPress, Dolphin. And as we scroll down here, we can see that there's different open source scripts, which Magic Submitter calls platforms, for many different platforms. We've got here things like article directories, or we've got things like blog platforms, we've got things like profile links. Profile links are like forums, and if you wanted to have your own forum, you could install one of these open source scripts or platforms onto your domain name, and you could create a forum for yourself. You could have guestbook, there's different free video sites, and there's bookmarking sites, statusnet microblog sites. Basically, there's lots of different types, Web 2.0 profile sites and wiki sites. Because these are open source scripts and they're free for people to use, it means that lots and lots of people across the web install this. And the great thing about it is that because lots and lots of people are all using exactly the same script, it means that if we can teach Magic Submitter to successfully post to one of them, unless that website owner that's installed it has gone in and changed that script, it means that in theory we should be able to post to every single site that's using that same script or platform, as it's called in Magic Submitter. Platforms are brilliant because you only need to teach Magic Submitter once, and it means that potentially you've got thousands of sites out there that are running the same script. Inside Magic Submitter, let's say, for example, I had my own list of, say, custom WordPress blogs. What I could do is I could add those to the software. I know they're going to work because Magic Submitter's already been trained to be able to post to WordPress. So in this video, I'm going to show you a little bit about Manage Platforms and some of the things that we can do with it. And in this case, I'm going to show you how I could add my own WordPress blog to be able to post to, and how you could use that same and how you could use exactly the same steps that I'm using to add anything you like. So I'm going to scroll down to WordPress here. I'm going to click on WP Free, and then I'm going to click on Copy Platform, because I don't want to add my WordPress site to the drop-down menu. If we was to just come out of here quickly, we have a drop-down menu in here of WordPress blogs. But I don't want to add my site to this because my WordPress site might be specific to a niche, whereas these WordPress sites I can just use for general posting. So let's say, for example, I wanted to scrape just a list of health sites, or I wanted to add my own custom sites. What I can do is I can click on Manage Platforms, I can scroll down here to WP Free, and I can click on Copy Platform. And it will say to me, would you like to make a copy of selected platform? I'm going to say yes to that, and then it will say, would you like to create new service type for copied platform? I'm going to say yes to this as well, because I want the service type as well. That's what will make it appear in the drop down menu here. So I'm going to say yes to that, and then you'll see that when I say yes, Magic Submitter's come up here, and it's give me the service type as WordPress blogs copy. It's give me the URL, which is WP Free, and it's got copy next to it. And then I've got here activation email address. Now, when you copy in one of the existing platforms, Any of these fields here, like activation email address, activation link query, and password query, if that particular platform requires these fields to be filled in and all we're doing is copying, these fields will automatically be filled in for us. But just to explain to you what they are exactly, activation email address is basically, let's say for example, if we knew specifically that when we signed up to a WordPress blog, we got an email back from, say, no reply at wordpress.com, we could include it here. But because I'm using this one specifically as a platform rather than an individual site, I'm going to leave this one blank. This is covered in a lot more detail in the Designer tab training video, so this for me right now isn't meant to be an advanced tutorial. This is just basically to explain to you a little bit about what these are so you've got an understanding. If you really want to start adding some of your own custom sites outside of what I'm going to show you now, then I definitely recommend you go to magicsubmittertutorials.com/training, and on the left hand side you'll see a box that says Designer tab trainings. I definitely recommend watching those. Alex, the owner of the software, has created about 25 videos which explain step by step exactly how to go through those. But just for the sake of this, that's just to explain to you that activation email address would be used if you were just adding a single URL rather than a platform, and that single URL was always using the same email address. Activation link query as well, this is blank, so we'll leave that blank. Again, if you go over to the Designer tab trainings, it'll explain these fields in more detail. And password queries is the same thing. Basically, all password queries means is, in some cases, some sites that you try and sign up to send you your password via email. So you could put a search string in here, and Magic Submitter will then pass that email, and it'll be able to pull that password off for you. Again, I definitely recommend check the Designer tab trainings on that. Same thing here with post-activation commands. Watch the Designer tab training videos. And one thing that is good here is this button that says Add Child Services. I'll explain that to you in a little bit more detail in a few minutes. But just to move on down here, we've got Use Categories. WordPress is a site that requires categories, so that's checked. In Magic Submitter, sites that require categories are written in blue bold font, so Use Categories will be checked. Use Socket Submit Mode. Magic Submitter posts to most sites now in Sockets mode, so if this is checked, don't uncheck it, just leave it checked. And is platform parent, we're going to check this. If we put this as a platform parent, it means that we're going to be able to see this in the harvester and the scanner, so potentially we can harvest and scan our own custom list of sites to that. So if you uncheck this, it now won't appear in either of those, so I'll leave this checked. Platform footprint search queries. Basically, when Magic Submitter goes out and it scrapes custom sites that are WP3 blogs or WordPress blogs, Magic Submitter is going to use these different search strings that are in here to query Google. Now, if you know anything about footprints, you can come in here and change this, but I do recommend that if you wanted to add your own custom footprints, the best thing that you could do would be to make a copy of the existing platform in Magic Submitter, like I'm doing now, and then make the changes. Don't change anything in the list of Magic Submitter sites, because during the next database update, any of your changes will be overwritten. So any changes you want to make a custom platform for it, and then you know you'll be safe during the next database update. Nothing will be overwritten. Next here, we've got platform check strings. When Magic Submitter is scanning and harvesting, one of the things that it does is, let's say it pulls in a list of blogs. There's basically two checks that it can do to determine whether it thinks the site belongs to this platform or not. The first thing it will do, if we look down here, is Magic Submitter will take the URL of the harvested site, and then it'll add this string onto the end of it, /wp login.php. And if this doesn't exist on that URL, then Magic Submitter instantly knows that it's not one of these sites. But some site owners, as I said earlier, do change their scripts. So what Magic Submitter does after it checks this is it looks for whatever's in platform check strings. So once it loads this page, it's going to look to see if user login, user email and register form appear on that page. If they don't, then Magic Submitter knows it won't be able to post to that site, and in that basis, it will simply not add the site to Magic Submitter. So this is the edit service form page. If I click save on this now, Magic Submitter should have added WP3 copy, WordPress blogs copy to the bottom here. So I can now see, as I scroll down here, that I've got WordPress blogs copy in the bottom of my list, and currently there's no sites in it, but WordPress blogs copy doesn't make too much sense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the designer tab, and then I'm going to go over to service types, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, WordPress blogs, and I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to call this my custom blogs, and click save. And now you'll see here that I've got my custom blogs in the bottom here. And when I'm in the designer tab, you're now going to see WP3 copy as one of the service types. If I go back into the main tab, it's going to look blank. So I want to go into the designer tab, WP3 copy. And now I'd like to add my own website to be able to post to with Magic Submitter. Okay, so if I wanted to add my own custom site to this, what I would do now is I would double click on my service name, and Magic Submitter already knows how to post to WP3 blogs. Most blogs that you've installed from WordPress will be WP3, so if you want to add your own custom stuff, simply double click on the WP3 and you'll be able to do that. And then what we're going to do here is double click on it, click on add child services, and then we can just put our URL in here. So if I wanted to post to my own blog, I'll just put in magicsubmittertutorials.com and click add. And then Magic Submitter has now added my website, so you can now see that I've got magicsubmittertutorials.com. Now all I need to do is double click on this. I could put my login details in here, and I could put my password in here, and I could click save on that. Now I'm just going to pause the video while I put my real login details and passwords in. Okay, so I've now put my real login details into here, and now that my site's included in the software, what I can do is right click this, and I want to set this to active. I don't want Magic Submitter to try and sign up for a new account because I've already given it my login details. So I've set it to active so that if I ever use this site again, it's not going to run through the create accounts process if I was to decide to use this as part of the campaign wizard. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to recheck this again. It unchecked itself because I set active status. And now I'm going to run user defined commands. And what I'm hoping is for Magic Submitter to log into my blog and for it to pull off the categories that I've set so that I'll then be able to use this to do postings. Okay, so I've just seen the status of this now says submitted. And that means that Magic Submitter was able to successfully log into my blog and it was able to pull the list of categories. And if I click on this now, you can see I've got two categories. I've got one called Magic Submitter and one called Uncategorized. So that's fantastic. I've now got that connected, and I could go through and add all of my different blogs to here. Let's say I had a load of blogs in the same niche. I could add them all to this as child services, and I could just keep adding them. Let's say I had 30 of them that were all in the same niche, and then I could just give Magic Submitter a highly spun article and ask Magic Submitter to post to those, I don't know, let's say drip it out over 30 days. So there's a couple of things about this. If you've got a large group of blogs, let's say 20 or 30 blogs, what you can do is rather than having to double click on each one and set in your login details and passwords, if they all use the same username and password for each of your blogs, you could actually set your username and password in the profile instead. So when it's asking here for your username and your password, you could just put your login here. So let's just pretend that the login for this was admin, and then I could set the password here as admin as well and click save. And then Magic Submitter would basically then go through and it would automatically assign that login name and password to all of those sites. Another thing to point out is when we've just copied this service is that when we go into the campaign designer now, or if you go through the campaign wizard, I could now include my custom blogs in my template. So let's say, for example, I decided that I wanted Magic Submitter to post to my custom blogs that I had created. If I had a group of them, I could then tell it to bookmark those blogs and build some RSS feeds to those blogs, for example, and I could start building my campaign out to include my custom blogs. I could then save this campaign, and this campaign is just as an example, but I might just call this my custom blogs and click save on this, and now I've got that saved. Anytime I want to do a campaign and go through it, my custom blogs is taken into account. Couple of other things is, in the next couple of videos, I go after the platform harvester and the platform scanner, but just to show you now, for when you watch the platform harvester video, that for me, I would actually now have my custom blogs has been added to the software. So now what I could do is, if you go through and you watch the platform harvester video, it'll show you how to harvest things. What you can do is, let's say you wanted to harvest your own list of health related blogs or your own list of SEO related blogs or whatever the case may be, I can tell Magic Submitter to automatically add them to my custom blogs. So I definitely recommend watching the platform harvester video and the platform scanner video. I look forward to connecting with you on the next video. Thank you very much.